girls, babies in your diapers. Welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a slimy video game to talk about, a great book about math, my bonus score report, and we got a totally awesome guest, the one, the only, Charles Smith. I get to call him Chuck. Chuck is a lawyer. He helps people that have disagreements. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Today we're going to start off with the video game of the week, and this is going to be a blast.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Slime Rancher. So this is a game on the PC and Mac. I play it with the Epic Game Launcher. This game was created by Miami Park, and it is a lot of fun. You get to play as Beatrix Lebu, a young character who travels far, far away from Earth, and you get to take care of slimes. They are colorful, bouncy creatures of slime that bounce around the area. Each day you are presented new challenges and risky opportunities as you attempt to get lots of money in the business of slime ranching. You can collect slimes, grow crops, harvest resources, and explore the area to find new slimes. You start the game with a backpack. This is like a cool vacuum cleaner that can collect slimes without you getting messy when you use the right mouse button. And when you use the left mouse button, it shoots out the slimes where you want to put them. You can feed the slimes and they give you resources which you can then sell. Or you can use the exchange and collect sets of special quests and get even more money. You can also upgrade your backpack to hold more slimes and even move around faster, and later, when you are high enough, then you can fly with a jetpack. So each slime is different. Some only come out at night and some react to each other. Putting the wrong slimes near each other can go horribly wrong. Also, when you mix certain slimes, they can combine and become bigger slimes that have combined elements of both of the slimes that made it. But if you add a third slime, it will warp into a tar, and they are very bad. They can wipe out an entire crop of slimes. But if you don't remove or clean the tar right away, then they can destroy your whole ranch. My dad says this is a safe game for most kids from 2nd grade and on. There's a little attacking, but most of it is farming and experiencing in the science lab. I give Slime Rancher 10 out of 10 stars because it is fun and a colorful game. And well, I even got my dad to play it. Well, he started it first, though. And then I found out of it, and then he showed me the game, and I actually thought it was interesting. But he will not admit it in public. Well, because it looks like a kid's game.
What do the slimes look like?
They're pink. Okay.
Do they look like little characters, or do they just look like plants?
They're actually real slimes. They're like dome-shaped.
Dome-shaped?
Yeah. But let me show you how you can make a tar. So if there's a tabby port and a pink slime, and if that tabby port, if that pink slime can eat the tabby port, it turns into a pink tabby's larger slime, and you can't pick them up. And also, when you put a rock port in a tabby pink tabby larger slime eats it, it turns into a tar right away. And this is how you can kill a tar. If you get the water pack, and if you have water in it, you can shoot it out and shoot it at the tar, and they're gone. But if you don't have the water pack, then you can suck it up really quick, but it stays on there, and then you shoot it out, and you must shoot it out in the water, or else it will still live. And if it goes into the water, it will die. And that's great.
The Tiberius Show is sponsored in part by
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck. Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help. You can call him at 407-801-2667.
cwsmithlaw.com. That website again is cwsmithlaw.com.
Does it actually have that much W's?
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855.
And now we're all ready for the Book of the Week.
Visual Guide to Math. This book is written by Karen Wilding. Let me read you the back of the book. In fact, Chuck, would you do that?
Visual Guide to Math. Learn all about counting, numbers, calculating, measuring, shapes, and more with this useful visual guide. Key math topics clearly explained with useful diagrams help children to develop basic math skills. Colorful images, illustrations, and charts make tricky concepts easy to understand and remember. Supports STEM curriculum for ages 4 to 8.
So first off, this is not a storybook or a graphic novel. This is the first reference book I have read in my whole entire life.
You've read school books, though.
Yes,
Okay.
but they're not about math. Okay, and of course it is about my favorite subject. Now what you don't know is that I get most of my books of the week either straight from the author or from the Orange County Library System. And this one is from the Orange County Library System, as you can see right here, the barcode. And I get to read it and give it back. Usually that is fine, but I get to read the book and know the story. But this book, well, I wish I could keep it. A reference book is a book that you can go back to again and again to remember stuff and double check it. There are sections about different types of math that I can go back and review. This book starts off with the definition of math and how to count and see, and goes all the way through fractions and timetables and using temperatures and money.
Mm-hmm.
And you need this money, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't forget those dollar bills. Oh yeah, you can't forget money. See, well, math is all around us. We use it every time we buy something, from how many of that is something you want, and how much it costs, and how heavy it, and how large or small it is. Then you have the math of how hot or cold it is, and what shape of it. And finally, the direction that is moving. All of that is math. After you know about the values of the math, then you can find a way to display it. That means graphs or equations or even pictograms. Since I like math, this is a great book for me. I can read it at night when I am in bed and review patterns that I found during the day. So I give Visual Guide to Math 10 out of 10 stars because it was about math, and I really don't want to give it back to the library though. Maybe my dad will get me a copy of it, and I will make it my calculations book. I think anyone that likes math should read this book and keep it so you can go back and double check anything that you want to be sure and you are doing it correctly. This is not an AR book, so you cannot use it towards your AR goal.
And what's AR?
AR is accelerated reading.
The Tiberius Show is sponsored in part by
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com. The Tiberius Show would like to thank Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures for being one of our sponsors. I got to go on an airboat and saw a real gator. I even got
got to go to the gem mine and mine for some gems. We ate a steak dinner at the restaurant and even got some gator bites. If you want to have a blast with the entire family, I suggest you go to www.bcairboats.com right now to get your tickets today. The website again is bcairboats.com.
Now it's time for an interview of an interesting person. Today, this is going to be so much fun. Today, we have the one, the only, the amazing Charles Smith. Chuck is a lawyer, and he works downtown right next to my studio. My dad told me that you are going to be a sponsor on my show. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad to hear that I'm doing that.
So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
It's actually a lot of fun. You're very good at this.
Thanks. I've never got a compliment like that before. So, what made you decide to be a lawyer?
Well, my dad was a lawyer, or is a lawyer still. My grandpa was a lawyer. My great-grandpa was a lawyer. It was always assumed when I was a kid I was going to be a lawyer. And then I went to University of Iowa and got a political science degree and a minor in philosophy and an international business certificate, and there's really not much you can do with that other than go to law school.
Law school, yeah.
But actually, I had always thought I would probably end up being a lawyer, although that's not what I wanted to be when I was a kid.
So what is a lawyer? Did you get to yell at people like on TV?
Preferably, you're not yelling at people. Lawyers do a lot of different things. To be a lawyer, you have to go to law school, and then you have to get admitted to one of the bar associations. I'm admitted to the Florida Bar, the Iowa Bar, and the District of Columbia Bar. But you only have to be admitted to one bar to be a lawyer, and that's individual states have their own bars.
And I think I know why you have to go to law school.
It's a lot to learn.
Get it? Law.
Uh-huh.
Lawyer.
Uh-huh.
Law.
Yeah, it's right in the name, isn't it?
Yep, it's right in the name. So that's why you need to go to law school.
Yep.
So what is the best part about being a lawyer?
Getting to help people.
Okay. So when you were a kid, what did you want to do when you grew up? Did you always know you were going to be a lawyer?
I wanted to be a stuntman when I was little. I saw a movie with a stuntman in it that looked really cool.
Do you mean The Greatest Showman?
No, this was one with Burt Reynolds that I saw when I was probably too young to see it.
Do you still practice to be a stuntman?
And yes, I actually did practice to be a stuntman. I would jump off balconies and jump out of trees, and never broke a bone, but probably should have.
Okay. So if my listeners want us to grow up being a lawyer, what advice would you give them?
Only half the people who graduate from law school actually end up practicing law. So a law degree is good for a lot of other purposes. You can use it in business or in finance. Lawyers do a lot of different things. But if you're wanting to if a kid wanted to grow up and be a lawyer, a good general degree in college is probably your best bet. A liberal arts degree.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, though,
What is a liberal arts degree?
liberal arts degrees are anything like political science, English. It's not.
Good at English.
Yeah. Well, see, you would probably want to get a Bachelor of Science because you would want to major in math and science,
Yep.
which I enjoyed too.
Even though that my girlfriend is very in love with science.
Is she?
That's her favorite subject.
That's cool.
Yep, and she's in the same class as me now, so
Is
that's
she?
great.
What's her
Isn't
name?
it? Layla.
Layla. Okay. Well, we added her on the show.
Yep, we did.
Now everyone knows she's your girlfriend. Although just a general liberal arts degree is good to go to law school, a lot of people nowadays use science degrees to get into very specialized area of the law, like copyright, things to do with the internet. And if you've got a background in computers and in science, it really helps to do copyright law and other areas, which are in pretty big demand.
So my dad said you are from Iowa.
Iowa.
Isn't it cool up there?
It can be. Depends on the time of the year. It actually gets hotter in the summer, but in the winter it gets pretty cold. There's snow a lot of the time.
I really want to go to Hawaii so I can go see snow.
Iowa.
So I want to go to Hawaii. Iowa.
And they don't grow potatoes there. They grow corn and soy.
Tomatoes?
potatoes. Potatoes. No, Idaho grows potatoes. People always ask me when I say I'm from Iowa. They always say, "Isn't that where they grow potatoes?" And I say, "No, that's Idaho."
Which is better, Florida or Iowa?
Depends on what you're asking about. The weather, it's always better down here unless it's August or September. But as far as growing up in a nice, safe neighborhood with good schools, large parts of Iowa are probably better.
And now it is spring. So it's right after winter.
It's probably still pretty cold up in Iowa right now. And let's see. It's 51 right now in Des Moines. So, and raining, which is really unpleasant weather.
Well, it should be snow.
Yeah. Now, there's oftentimes, I've seen snow on May 2nd. When I moved back up to Iowa a couple of years ago, and then I moved back, and right before I moved back, on May 2nd, there was 2 inches of snow on the ground. That was in 2013.
Wow. Did you play with snowballs?
We did.
Wow.
My boys still remember building snowmen and building snow forts and having snowball fights, even though you only get to do it a couple times, because the snow is not always packable. When it's too cold, the snow is just crunchy.
Because if I had a snowball, I would just throw it at my dad's face.
Yeah, as long as it's not an ice ball. Don't throw ice balls.
It should be an ice ball.
Yeah, don't throw ice balls.
I know, don't throw ice balls. So my dad says you help people, and other people say lawyers are liars that make just lots of money. Which one is right?
Well, I think most lawyers are not liars, although some of them are. But most lawyers want to help people. Some don't, but most lawyers are just looking to help other people and to help them with their legal problems. And making money is important because you got to run a business. But
which I am running a business.
Yeah, I know you have a very successful radio business. Running a business, being an attorney and running a business, it's important to be able to make money. But your primary goal is to help your clients. And if you help your clients and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, the money will follow.
Okay. So when you are not running your law practice, what is your favorite thing to do?
Well, there's 2 different parts of that question. Because I am the sole practitioner, which means I've got my own business, so I have to actually run a business and practice law at the same time. And although I would probably enjoy doing either one of them individually, doing both at the same time could be trying, because it takes a lot of time.
So you're trying to do that at home?
No, I don't usually do any work at home.
Okay. Well, my dad does, and it's sad when he has to do it, because then I don't get to play with it. So do you play video games? What's your favorite one, though?
I do play video games. I used to have a PlayStation 4, but we had a lightning strike take it out, like, shortly after we got it. So I went back to the PlayStation 3, which was still working. So, Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, you can't play that one yet. I get in trouble when the kids walk in and I'm still playing it.
Wish you could.
Yeah, Lindley can tell you all about how many times I've had to pause the game and go do other stuff.
Oh, guess how many times I had to stop playing 7 Days to Die when my mom sees it? Promise me, thousands of times.
Which game?
7 Days to Die.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Zombies
know that
game.
one. Oh, is it a zombie game?
Yeah, there's shotguns, bow and arrows. There's also like zombies, and you can get a headshot, and there's real blood in it.
Ah.
So yeah, that's
Okay.
me. So do you like board games? What's your favorite one?
Yes, and our family, we usually play Monopoly.
Everybody just keeps saying Monopoly.
Wow.
It's just like Monopoly, 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 Monopoly.
We rarely finish a game Monopoly, though, because after about an hour, everyone starts getting bored and jumping all over the place.
Okay, so guess what is mine?
What is your favorite board game?
Yes,
Monopoly.
it is.
What about Hungry Hungry Hip-Hops?
Well, there's also one called Ice School that I really like.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a flicking game.
Flicking game?
Yeah. So if you flick the head, it jumps over a wall. And when you flick it, it just goes straight. But if you go through a door and there's a fish on it, you get the fish.
You know what my favorite game to play with my kids when they were really little was?
Ooh.
Chutes and Ladders.
I have that game.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It still
How
is.
about Candyland?
That one too? Yep.
Candyland
was
is so
good too.
much fun.
Yep, but kids are too old for that now.
Okay. So what is your favorite book?
Oh, I'm pretty fond of The Lord of the Rings. I read those when I was a little bit older than you. And then if I had to pick a favorite book, I would probably say Isabel Allende, House of Spirits.
Okay.
Also not appropriate for you.
Okay, so what is your favorite actually appropriate book for child?
Well, my son's reading The Hobbit right now. And The Hobbit's a very good book, too.
I know you have to have a favorite band, right?
Yeah, and I like a lot of different types of music, and I like a lot of different music. But, I'm sorry, you asked?
What is it?
Oh, my favorite song is Peter Gabriel's Salisbury Hill. My favorite album is Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. My favorite song probably changes from month to month.
What about
my favorite band? Oh, right now it's probably 21 Pilots.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid's show, but that one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about.
Most of what I do probably doesn't sound very exciting on the radio.
Okay.
Trying cases for me is a lot of fun.
Okay.
I've done a bunch of trials. But as far as any particular stories that would be good on the radio, well, those are ones I usually can't tell because that would be talking about a client's personal stuff.
So give me a personal.
I can tell you a story about one of my sons. I got a call to go pick him up at the school, and I go and I walk in, and he's in the nurse's office, and he's got his arm in a little cast thing, and they open it up, and I look at it, and I look down at him, and I say, "Buddy, your arm's broke." And he looks up at me and says, "How do you know?" I said, "It's not straight. It's crooked." And then he had to go to a doctor and actually have it straightened. You know how they did that?
That hurt?
According to him, yes. He was screaming pretty loud.
Yeah, if that was me, I would be screaming.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, I would just lose my voice, like...
So do you know how they straightened his arm?
How?
They had a little contraption. I can show you a picture of it in a minute, where they put little Chinese finger traps on his fingers, and then they had a little crank, and it would pull on the fingers, and there was those finger traps, so it wouldn't pull too hard, so it wouldn't hurt too much, and it would be gentle, but very slowly they cranked it, and it straightened his arm out. Because we took x-rays before and after it was much straighter. But you know what's really cool? It still wasn't completely straight, and they didn't care. You know why?
Why?
Because when you break your arm and it's still growing, it grows straight. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Very weird. So is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
I really enjoy what I do, and I really enjoy helping people.
Thank you so much, Chuck, for being my guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
I probably can. Thank you for having me. I had fun.
The Tiberius Show is sponsored in part by...
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom Braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering, to trophies and awards. They can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373. Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org. The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our awesome sponsors, SlutChannelUS.com. These guys are very, very cool. They bring 21st century surface drainage solutions to reality. They can do corporate and government work. These are the guys that make roads and bridges safe in the rain. You can see all about them at SlutChannelUS.com. That website again is SlutChannelUS.com.
Get ready, it's time for the Bowling Wrestling Score Report!
It's Jones. It's Saturday and I'll play with MJ. Mia and Vanessa were on different lanes. I bowled a 106, a 126, and a 70 in the final game.
So you're probably better than me then.
So I'm trying something new. I'm going back to be a two-handed bowler. It is so much fun to be two-handed, and I can curve the ball a lot more. I went to the Strike for Vets event on Sunday, and it was so much fun. If you want to go bowling with me, be sure to join me at the Amos Hills Site Saturdays at Amos Guys on ABT at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
So this week we're going to talk about comparing values. I found an entire section about comparing in the book of the week. When you will compare, you usually list if it is more than or less than or equal to each other. So if I wanted to compare the value of the height between you and me, well then it is easy to tell that you are taller than me. So Chuck height is more than or greater than Tiberius height. So these three results are easy to work with. If it is not greater than or less than, then they have to be equal. So if I put like two pencils next to each other, and when they are brand new, and they are equal in height, that will not change until I use a sharpener on one of them. Now we can compare lots of other values, like Tiberius weight is less than Chuck weight. A good one would be Chuck running speed is less than Tiberius running speed.
I don't know about that.
Oh wait, maybe we can do it today.
I used to be much faster when Chuck's weight was not so much greater than Tiberius's weight.
I can compare 3 feet in 1 yard, and I know they have to be equal. Because I can compare 3 plus 3, 3 and 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 is greater. When comparing, you can find the patterns in math. So Chuck, do you now know how to compare different values?
I think so.
Thank you so much, Chuck, for your help with Math Corners.
You are so very welcome.
And now it's time for Heart of a Lion. We, the Tiberius Show, like living with the heart of a lion. Living with the heart of a lion stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. We asked Dr. Ferret exactly what that means.
Leadership is really about influence. Leadership is, and the way we define it is good leadership, is about setting the right example and encouraging other people to do the right thing. Integrity is about doing right no matter what. Through life, there are a lot of different circumstances that arise, and integrity, someone who shows integrity, it doesn't matter what all the external things are, they always choose to do what is right. Obedience is about obeying those who are in authority over you, whether that's a teacher, a boss, a parent, that when you are asked to do something, that you respond with obedience, quickly and completely. Nobility is about having respect. It's about carrying yourself with respect and showing respect to others. When you put these 4 things together, that's Lion Strong.
This week we're going to talk about integrity. Well, this week my teacher had to go to the restroom. Everyone just acted like she was still sitting at a desk. But when she came back, everything was just the same as when she left. So even though that she was not there, everyone in the class acted with integrity and still did what they were supposed to do. So Chuck, did you see or use integrity at all this week?
It's very important for an attorney to always use integrity. We have to tell our clients both the good and the bad news, and sometimes we have to give our clients advice that's contrary to our own interests. There are many times when I'm telling a client that settlement would not be a good idea because they need surgery and it's not time to settle the case because they don't have another way of paying for the surgery, even though I would get paid an attorney fee right then if the case settled. That's what we're supposed to do as attorneys. Tell our clients the options and let them make the choice.
Wow. So of all of the Heart of a Lion virtues, which is your favorite?
I'd probably have to say integrity.
So that's amazing. And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, Chuck Smith for being my special guest this week. You have been awesome. And I hope I never need help. But if I do, I know who I need to call.
Thank you, Tiberius.
And be sure to listen to us next week on the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.